Hello and welcome to the Never Miss a Monday podcast. I am your host, Stacey Garcia, and I have someone really exciting to introduce you to today. My new friend, Sheri Levy. Sheri Levy practices functional diagnostic self-healing. Her job is to help you figure it out, stop the spiral, and guide you back to your sexy, strong life. Being a mother of two children with their own unique health challenges and thriving through and after breast cancer has taught her that it is one thing to be sexy and strong on the outside, but undeniably more important to be sexy and strong on the inside. Couldn't agree with that more.
Mhm.
She has dedicated her life to educating women and their families on how to use better labs to stop guessing and instead gain unique knowledge about how their body works to create a roadmap back to vital strength. Welcome to the show, Sheri. I'm so excited to have you on today.
Thank you so much for having me. I can't believe it's Monday already.
I, right?
Right?
My favorite day of the week. Do you enjoy Mondays?
Love a good Monday.
Do you love it? What do you love about a Monday?
It is just the jump start to Friday. That's what Monday is all about.
I love it. It's a fresh start to hopefully an amazing week ahead. I'd love
Yeah.
to share with the audience how we met. You know, it's really funny. So this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month,
Mhm.
and one of the silver linings of my breast cancer journey is an amazing woman named Elise Cohen. And I met her in recovery from my mastectomy. A mutual friend said, "You need to talk to Stacey." She was diagnosed not long at all after I was. And we were kind of
Oh,
navigating and going through things together. And she has been such a gift as a friend to me, but she also has the most amazing friends that she's introduced
yeah.
me to, and you are one of them. So thank you, Elise Cohen.
Thank you. And I go way back with her when she was a baker before she was a Cohen.
I
So,
don't know this. That's
oh
amazing.
yeah. She's a champion and just the greatest gift. So yes.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Well, I know that your work focuses on empowering women to heal and thrive naturally. Would you like to share a personal experience, maybe with your own health or a loved one, that led you towards holistic healing?
Oh, yes, there's just nothing better than sharing it all out there, right? I you know, I think that we're, as women, just naturally trying to take care of ourselves. We are the caretakers, but certainly when you start to procreate and these little children start to emerge and they have issues that they shouldn't have, like stomach aches and rashes and constipation and eczema and fast brain, like all of this stuff. So, clearly my early days were thinking that I was healthy, trying to like champion my children. And there was a turning point for me that really pushed me into functional medicine where I am now. And that turning point was recognizing that we live in a complicated, chemically toxic world and that food could be harming my children. And so I really like kind of dove deep. And I think many young mothers now today do, but this was before when,
Mhm,
if you were organic, you were considered crazy.
mhm,
But we made a journey to just kind of help
mhm.
our children and go on this organic journey and pull the, science experiment out of our home. And during that course of time is when I discovered that I had breast cancer, unbeknownst.
Wow.
My whole family was healing, and here I get a diagnosis with my six-pack of abs and my, healthy body that I have breast cancer. And so that really took the lid off of, how do you do things better? And where did this, like, possibly come from? Why did it
Mhm.
happen to me when my doctor said I was the healthiest, patient he had, right? So I'm
Mhm.
sure these are things that you all heard. And then just to let your listeners, off the hook, I'm fine. And this is 10 years behind me. So it's always good to know that many, many people recover and we're in a different place on our journey, for all of us. But the big thing, that was the big waking moment. And since I was already navigating in this healthier space, it started to make sense that my cancer didn't just show up because I was unlucky. It
Mhm.
showed up because I was navigating my entire life to a chapter where the door just opened and cancer walked through. So that was a big turning point for me and a big start into, okay, it happened for a reason. What was the reason? And then I just took my entire body apart and started putting myself back together again, stronger, and using functional medicine and integrative medicine to do that.
Wow, what a story. That really is unbelievable. So you were your first guinea pig.
Yes. Well, my children will
Your
tell you
children. Yes.
that they were the first guinea pigs. My husband will tell you he's a big guinea pig and now he's a strong, sexy, strong guinea pig. But yes, the whole family. But for me, I was my own. Yeah, I didn't have anybody that had breast cancer in my family, and I think I told this to you, and I think it's important to share this with your listeners too, that I possibly everything I did was unconventional,
Mm,
even the way that I handled my cancer. And I think it was primarily because I was on this organic, healthy journey. And here I had something that wasn't like I didn't solve it in the 2 years that I was trying to eat better. And so I chose to not share my cancer with the entire world. And that right there was very, very unconventional. And I believe it was one of the best decisions
mm,
of my life. My immediate family knew. I had one friend who knew, but I opted not to tell everybody. For me, I don't know, it's different for everyone, but for me, I really needed people to look at me and reflect back to me this mirror that I was
mhm,
healthy. And I was that six pack of abs girls that I thought I was. I needed them to not look at my breasts, but to look at me, to share
mhm,
everything with me, to not hold me, back anything, to invite me places. I just needed that reflection that I was healthy. And that helped me to live on this little island of denial,
mhm.
which I love the island of denial. It is so great because everything is normal there.
Right.
Um, right? Uh,
No, I
yeah.
totally understand that. I can see your perspective, and I appreciate you sharing that because that is a new perspective on this show where, you really took this as your own. And I think there's a huge mindset that goes along with all of this. And something that I learned because I had a similar story where I felt like I was a beacon of health. I ate organic, and this again was just a matter
Mhm.
of maybe 16 months ago. But
Yeah.
I have been plant-based for such a long time, whole foods, exercise daily, meditation, all of the things. And I had to dig deep and be like, well, there's something there I'm missing. And yes, we can't control externally everything when we walk outside of our doors, but we can control to a certain extent what happens within our home, the cleaning products, the food, the energy, stress levels. So I
Mhm.
do believe that mindset does play a huge role in recovery or prevention of anything. How do you see the connection between your thoughts, emotions, and physical healing?
It is 20% of the big problem. I want to just share so much with you, Stacey. We could talk
Mm.
for hours,
I
but
know.
the trauma and drama that you live through at a young age and you carry and you have unresolved in you
Yes.
is something that must be resolved. You have to put on your big pants and you have to fix it and you have to close the chapter on it
Mhm.
and never think about it with ill remorse. And when you know you've done something right, and you're through it, when you're not focusing on it and you're negative and you're angry about it, you just are like, yeah, whatever, it was a chapter, it's
Mhm.
over. So your emotion, all of that is 20%. But I want to talk to you about nutrigenomics because you said plant-based, healthy. And I can't tell you how many people have said to me now that I'm healthy, and I didn't do the chemo or the tamoxifen. I
Mhm.
did do a lumpectomy, and it's important to say that.
Mhm.
But it's important that people say I'm plant based and I eat really healthy and I eat really clean. But when you look at your genetics, if you look at your nutrigenomics, who you are, your genetics, 100 genes, you will see if your body can transfer plants into the nutrients you need to repair your immune system, the nutrients you need to, you know, give energy to your brain, energy to your body to help that function. And if you can't transfer things like, plants into beta carotene or retinol vitamin A, or you can't transfer them into omega 3, you're
Mm.
going to create a deficit that will compound into a Grand Canyon that
Mhm.
will open a door to let some kind of disorder walk in. So, not guessing how we eat is part of the bigger problem that we need to solve. Emotions, absolutely, but not guessing how
Mm.
to eat is 70% of the healing journey. And we know that when we look at, well, who gets cancer? People from the environment, their lifestyle, their choices? Yes, 94%. Only 4 to 6% get it from the actual genetics that make it more challenging, but it still can be turned off. It still doesn't have to happen. So
So
sorry to
interesting.
kind of like train wreck,
No, please don't.
about the
I actually really want to go back and dig deeper into that. So tell me, what would I need to do to find out exactly what would work for me and my individual body?
Well, thank God now it is 100% easier. Now you can literally just test with a swab test your
Oh.
100 genes that will come back and tell you this is how you digest food. I loved doing this with my husband. We actually are a family of four, and everybody is different in our family. We have similarities, but
Mhm.
we are different. But looking at my husband, who was like told over and over again, you have to be keto to lose weight, you have to be keto to be strong. And then
Mm.
I look at his genes, and literally, he doesn't even make ketones well. If he ate all that saturated fat, he would have a heart attack. So that is not him. And so to answer your question again, a simple swab test will tell you if you can transfer all plants, if you can never be vegan, if you can be vegan, if you could be vegetarian. It generally 80% of the population has a unique diet and they have some kind of unique configuration of who they are and what they need. And when you solve that, you solve 70% of the challenge of what guessing has brought to you your entire life.
Wow. Okay. So I shared with you, I was at Fran Drescher's Cancer Schmancer Health Summit, and she had this amazing gastroenterologist that was on about the microbiome and gut health. And
Yes.
she really had me thinking because as a child, I had quote unquote IBS. I could
Yes.
tell I was never able to handle gluten products, but even when I removed gluten, there was still underlying causes. Then when I was in my 20s, I was diagnosed with SIBO and cancer a decade later. And I feel like there are connections there.
Mhm.
And I have never taken a test, definitely non-invasive like that. So how would someone like me, any of our listeners, find out, like, where can we take this test to find out what our plan would be for food?
Okay, so there's 2 things I wanna unpack here because
Okay.
I wanna address this microbiome, okay? Because that's my second specialty, right? Nutrigenomics, microbiome, like nutritional psychology, boom, boom, boom. Um, but the genetic test is easy. Like you just go to my website, tell me you want it, and boom, you've got a genetic diet. 100 genes will test. We'll look at 90 pages together. I'll sit with you with an hour to make sure that not only do you know how to eat, but you know, should I intermittent fast or not? How
Mhm.
should I exercise? How do I recover? What happens? Should I be challenged with, worried about a thyroid issue? And if I am, how do I fix it? That is the beauty of nutrigenomics. It's like, sure, you may have these wonky genes that one of your parents gave you or both, but this is the solution. This is how you use nutrition. This is how you use exercise. This is how you use meditation, maybe, to help those wonky genes turn into strong genes. So that's a really, really easy, and you can do that with me. You can, I'm sure, find other people who do it, but I love this test because it is so deep and it covers 172 like sections of who you are. It's your body's owner's manual. And every child at birth, instead of them, popping them with a shot, maybe they should be giving them a swab test and saying, Mom, feed them correctly. Don't mess this
Yeah.
up.
Well,
Right?
you're
Could
gonna
you
be hearing
imagine?
from me as soon as we get off this recording because I'm gonna start that now.
Yeah. It's a no-brainer. It's a
Yes.
no-brainer. But let me just say, you mentioned your beautiful, wonderful microbiome, which is an entire universe into in of itself. 26 feet, trillions of this is your people call them your probiotic, but they're your microbiota. They're your phyla, right? And they are creating your immune system. So if 70 to 80% of your immune system is living in this digestive tract, you bet your butt that what you eat matters. And you also, what matters is that you are, and excuse me, I know the producer's listening and I adore you, but you need to be pooping. Okay. Women need to not think that not pooping is feminine.
Mhm,
It's not.
mhm.
You have to be pooping 2 to 3 times a day.
I'm gonna
That
tell my daughter this as soon as she gets home from school because I told her this yesterday. She came sorry to interrupt you. She came back from a 3-day camping trip. She announces to me and her dad, "I did not poop," and I was like, "Ava, I get it. I was that kid too. I was nervous, but I was like, Ava, you got it." And she's like, my friends don't poop. And I'm like, I poop 2 to 3 times a day. She's like, Mom, you need to get that checked. And I said,
no.
no, Ava, that is actually what you should be doing every day. So continue on. I just had to share.
Yes. Well, Ava and I are going to be best girlfriends, okay? Because you're right, Mom. You are right. Applause to you. You have to be pooping 2 to 3 times a day. It is not, you cannot skip days because this is your detoxification of the world. This is for your beautiful Ava. I don't know how old she is, but one day, I imagine she's younger, she's going to have her first menstrual cycle. And we need to make sure that the fake estrogen in the world and her estrogen is detoxing out the right pathway. It's detoxing out. It's not looping and going
Mhm.
down a pathway that can actually cause cancer. This, if women were, instead of just given a blood test and here's your estrogen, if they were given a smarter functional test, you could actually see the pathway your estrogen is going down. And if it's problematic, you can change your diet and help your detoxification and move it down the right pathway.
Wow.
So, right? I know,
Yes.
right? Right? Where was this why is this not taught in school, in every school? Like it will be the future.
I
But
hope so.
until then, we have to keep teaching each other, right?
Absolutely. No, I mean, you've raised so many thinking points, to be honest. So you're saying 70% is food, 5 to 6 or 5 to 8% is genetics. And what are the other like? Give me the whole circle.
The whole circle of love.
Yes.
Okay. So so when I want you just to make a real connection and then we'll go into like the love fest, right? But
Okay.
the because your food is feeding the diversity of your microbiome and they are building nutrients and they are processing and building your immune system and they are
Mm,
detoxifying for you. This is why this mouth, this gut brain, this whole connection is so important. And that's why together it makes this like 73%.
mm,
Okay. Now, the other part is yes, remove your trauma. You must exercise because in that exercise, but not over
mhm,
exercise. You don't need to be doing 2 hours, 17 marathons. Like you just don't because you're also going to screw up your pelvic floor, like a topic for another day. But
mhm,
you need to be moving and moving your arms because
mhm.
all of that is by design. And it is helping the body remove that glutamate, which is making you angry and crazy, and turning it into GABA, which is so making you chill and like, happy. Everything is turning when you exercise. So, exercise is important. Building muscle is important, right? Having a fallback. But drinking water, that's a part of your food, but we think of it separately. And so many women will be like, I don't have time because then I have to pee. And so we will forego. And this
Right,
was one of my challenges, not realizing that I need 50% of my weight in ounces of
right.
spring clean water with minerals in it so that my body can welcome it into the cells and help me to again detox, nourish, do the whole job. But then you also need, your faith, you need laughter because all of this is giving to the big picture. And
Mhm.
when you put it all together, then the body will just do its job and it will be silent. Because if the body's talking to you too much, like it was talking to your daughter, like, oh, stomach ache. Oh my gosh, like go to the bathroom. But she's like, no, I can't. It's so embarrassing, right? But your body shouldn't be talking to you. It should just be like, oh, good morning. Oh, yes, let's go to the bathroom. Oh, please. Thank you for that water. Oh, I'm a little bit hungry. Feed me. Oh my gosh, let's go for a run. Let's make love. Like that's what your body should be saying. When it starts saying like, I'm achy, I'm tired, I'm foggy, I can't
Mhm.
concentrate. It's not saying, that you need hormones. It's saying that you need food and you need to get rid of the chemicals and you need to fix the problem. So I think I
Okay.
went over the nut.
No, I mean, I'm just trying to like remember all these talking points. So, number one, what you just said right now is so important. I want everyone to hear that you said all of these cues, they're not norm. I don't want to use the term normal. Maybe you could think of a different term, but
Common,
yet common. You
common.
shouldn't feel these ways all the time and just say, oh, it's because of X, Y, and Z and blow it off. Your
Yeah.
body should be speaking to you with love most of the time. And
Mhm.
if it doesn't feel in balance, you should definitely be empowered to seek out why. And I really
Yes.
strongly believe that. Another part that you spoke about, which I think is number one, it's so trendy, but for the wrong reasons, I believe, is the term detoxing. So you use that term a lot, and I
Mhm.
love how you use that with exercise because it's a mental and physical detox for me where if I get frustrated or I'm feeling down, I
Mhm.
lace up and I go for a walk without even skipping a beat. That's what I do because I know I come back and I feel
Mhm.
clear-headed and amazing, and I can conquer whatever I need to conquer. You could go ahead. You can interrupt. Go ahead.
No, you're what you're doing is you're turning your glutamate into GABA. You're turning off your adenine. You are making that exchange, helping the body to make its next enzyme, and for you, like release your happiness and release your stress. So absolutely.
So let's talk about detoxing because
Mhm.
I feel like there's so many different forms and everyone kind of
Mhm.
just guesses what type of detox they should do for themselves. What do you think people misunderstand about detoxing or cleansing the body naturally?
Everything. And that's the short answer. Most people think that it's a 1 week process. It's a 2 week thing.
Mm,
It's I'm gonna drink these juices and that's going to save me for the
mhm,
other 330 days of the year,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
So well, and I was gonna say, and you shouldn't, like, guess where your body needs help. I'll tell you the biggest danger out there right now that I see in social media is people screaming about parasites and
mm,
metals and telling everybody that they have metals and parasites, and all these people randomly, without doing any testing,
mhm,
are jumping into this parasite protocol and they are destroying their microbiome where 70% of their immune system lives because they did not test to see if they really have a challenge. And if they do have a challenge, then you create a custom protocol, which could be considered detoxing, but it's
mhm,
a custom protocol to help the microbiome rebalance. And then you test again to make sure you got the job done, right? That's the correct way to do it. So put that aside. When you look at
mm,
your body as far as just like nutritionally, detoxing, I said this to our beautiful, beautiful Elise Baker Cohen of Densinerate. I said to her just yesterday, she said, I feel like I need to detox because I'm coming off this chemo. And I said to her, my beautiful friend, your detoxification is every day. It's
yes,
not 1 week. And
yes.
what you choose to eat needs to be clean and the best you can until you reach that 10-year goal, or confidently you are NED, no evidence of
Mhm,
disease. You must every day reinvest in your mission. That's
mm,
remission.
mm. I'm gonna sit on that for a second. Yes. So, God, that's beautiful. And yesterday was her last infusion, and it was a
Yeah.
huge mazel. Like, we're gonna celebrate and go on our walk and
Oh,
talk
yeah.
next week, and it just is just amazing, a whole year of
Mhm.
all of that. And so let's talk about, the detoxing or reducing inflammation, if you will, naturally. Is there something universal that we can all do like today to help reduce some inflammation in our system?
Well, I'm really big on infrared sauna.
Mm,
And if you can get into an infrared sauna with, 3 wavelengths and near, mid, and far, safely, just 20 minutes, not so high powered that you're drying out your eyes and everything, but an infrared sauna is more like warm heat. And this is going to penetrate 3 different layers in your body. It's going to help with your skin and collagen. It's going to go deeper and help repair muscle. And it's going to go even deeper and help this like sweating of this detoxification, getting these metals out and these chemicals out. And you then, take a shower and wash it off and do it again. Like you need to bring
mm,
that type of sweating more regularly into your life, at least like, 4 times a week if you can at minimum. And if you can't go into a sauna, then you should be like sweating it out,
mm,
in an exercise fashion, right? As
mhm,
long as you're not like overdoing it to the point where you create oxidative stress.
Right.
And this is like, rusting of the cells because they're being run literally too hard. So,
That's amazing. I wanna talk to you about exercise, and I have never been in an infrared sauna, and I'm very
I will take
intrigued by
you.
it. I would love that's something on my list. I think that would be amazing and life-changing, honestly.
Mhm.
I do wanna talk about sweat, and it's so funny. My son, my 8-year-old, the other day asked me, "Mommy, is it healthy to sweat?" And then we had a great talk about detoxing naturally, honestly.
Mhm.
So when it comes to exercise, do you look at exercise for the individual or do you look at the age group? Because I could tell you right now how I trained in my 20s or 30s is completely different than what I'm doing in my 40s.
Sure. No, you're 100% right that it's different for every age. I'm really big on personalize everything. Like, it doesn't matter what I do, it only matters what you need or should do that's right for you. And in every age, you're going to have, different levels of energy. When we're young, we're not put into a box and told that we can't run outside for 4 hours and just scream
Mhm,
our heads off and play. Like, that is their detoxification. And as we get older, we definitely are going to transition because we need to be mindful that we don't want to wear down our beautiful joints, right?
mhm,
And also we don't want to overstress our bodies so much that they can't do other things to help us to be strong, right? Because the body, wherever you drive it, it will go.
mhm,
So if you're only pounding it hard, then it's going to be constantly in repair mode for
right.
that inflammation. Interestingly, when you look at your nutrigenomics, you can see a whole cardiovascular section that tells you, Stacy, how you should
Oh,
recover and repair. And it may say, you know what, you have the type of body that when you exercise builds extra inflammation. And so you may need to do some cold to get that inflammation down, or the cold is not going to help you at all. So you're going to need to have 3 days in between to
mm,
allow your body to recover and lower inflammation.
that
Like,
is
there's so,
brilliant.
right? We are individually, we are unique.
Yes.
And so we have to stop like listening to what other people say works for them
Mhm,
and start
mhm.
asking what works for me.
Absolutely. I love that. I would love to hear about your practices, your non negotiables, as I like to call them. What would you never miss on a Monday or any day that you hold just so dear to your heart?
Oh gosh. Well, I will say that I always bring in flowers into my house.
Mm,
They remind me that the week is beautiful and should be beautiful, but that it also goes fast. And
mm,
so I need to be on top, right, of enjoying and embracing the beauty in every single day of my week. And flowers always like share that with me, right?
mm.
That's their wisdom.
Yes.
Um, and I definitely always check in with myself to make sure that I have diversity in my diet on Mondays. I literally will sit back, I'll check in with my body, and this
Mm,
is not negotiable. I will ask, like, how am I doing? What am I feeling? Did I wake up today foggy and
mm,
tired or alert and energetic? Like, and how is my body like moving? And I will actively kind of check in, be grateful, be thankful to every part of my body that's doing the job. And then I will plan, how am I going to reward my body this week by being diverse, not eating the same 15 foods over and over again, like honoring what my body needs as far as nourishment and exercise and, hydration. So there's like a whole honor practice that
yes.
goes on Monday. Um, and then, of course, it's really about the next step, which is what are my next things that I must do to help move myself forward. Because if cancer teaches you anything, it
Mhm.
teaches you that this is, a beautiful life, and you can either live it or you can, be on the sidelines of regret. And I would rather
Mhm.
know that I'm, doing it all, having that sexy, strong life, right?
I love that. Did I share with you about Jane Fonda's I did share with you about Jane Fonda's speech the other day, no? When I
No.
was at Fran Drescher's Health Summit, she was
You
the
couldn't
first.
remember who it was.
I
That's what it
couldn't?
was.
Oh my god, was my brain not
What?
working that day? So, what you're making me remember is Jane Fonda's what she said was pretty much, "When I got cancer, I realized I am not afraid of dying. I am afraid of regrets." And
Mm,
she actually talked about when she turned 59 years old, and she was kind of faced with, "I'm about to enter, the last leg, if you will, last stage of her life." And she was married to Ted Turner, and they were going through marital strife. And she was so afraid if she stayed, she wouldn't be able to do what she was meant to do. She went into some like real deep diving for a full year as to her purpose in life. She hadn't worked for 15 years. She went into her genealogy. She like dug deep. And she did leave her marriage, and then she became so huge in the community and such an amazing
mm.
advocate. And she looks back and she's like, "Thank God, because I had this little, very soft voice saying, 'You've got to be free. You've got to do what you're going to do.'" And so I think that honoring and listening to your intuition is so important for your life. And I would love to know, what role does spirituality or intuition play in your approach to healing?
I love that you asked that question, and also just, like, big applause to Jane Fonda, right? What a champ,
Uh-huh.
in so many areas. I will say that, to when I first got my diagnosis of, breast cancer, I was in Hawaii on this, like, girls' trip, my first trip ever with girls that I was hosting ever. And when I got this, like, phone call from my doctor telling me that I had, breast cancer, I first call that I made, and there was like 5 people in my inner circle, and one was a spiritual advisor,
Mhm.
somebody who was a Rebbitzin. And I said to her, I shared with her what was going on, and she gave me clarity. And she actually told me, just focus on what you know now. Focus on what you know now, which is you've got this label, and then you will focus on the rest later. So that is very, very important. I will also say that, though, when it comes to your intuition and that communication that you have with yourself, I
Mhm.
always felt that I was very intuitive. I will say that having this journey has brought me so close to who I am and
Mhm.
in trust with my instincts than ever before on my life. And I would literally not, the night before I was going to get some big piece of information from my doctors, I would literally say to myself, okay, look, I need to sleep, but I need you to find out, do I have X, Y, and Z in my body? Don't tell me now. Let me sleep, figure it
Mhm.
out, and tell me in the morning. And I would wake up and it'd be like, yes, you have this in your body. Now go deal with it. And I'd be like, okay. And that communication gave me the confidence to make decisions like, I'm not going to do the
Mm.
chemo because my body's already repairing. It's already repairing. And it helped me to make all the decisions throughout my journey. So it's very, very important, if you don't know how to talk with yourself and
Mhm.
have that communication, like right before you go to bed, right when
Mm.
you wake up, start learning, start teaching yourself. Because just like you can drive your car and get to the party and you don't even know how you got there, right? You just like, oh my gosh, you checked out, but you arrived. That's your higher conscience, if you will, your higher self getting you there safely. It's overseeing everything you do. It just is. And it can deliver the information you need if you just open that communication.
Absolutely. That's a perfect answer. And I love what your friend said to you, honestly. I think that advice was key. And that is kind of how I took everything. Even when it was time to tell my children, it was like, well, let me just tell them what I know now in this moment.
Right.
And that's all they need to know. That's all I know. I'm not going to go into the what ifs and all of the different spiraling. And
Mhm.
that's something I practice really in my daily life. It's just putting one foot in front of the other. I would like to talk a little bit about someone that's gone through breast cancer or anything else, to really how to reconnect with their confidence and femininity after any kind of body change.
Yeah, that is, I think that's going to be an answer that's completely different for
Mm,
everyone. But I will say that you are here now, wherever it is that you are here now, like, thank God, right? That's the beauty and the femininity of all of it is that we're
mm,
alive, and we have the opportunity to make a choice. And that choice is, do I close the chapter on this bullshit drama that I am telling myself that I can't be and don't have and should look like this? Or do I just open the book to the new page of this is the new me and embrace every moment? You're going to enjoy yourself so much better if you just like embrace every moment and have no regrets. Because, cancer is like 31 flavors. You get what you get. I had vanilla and a double scoop of Rocky Road, right? But some people have triple scoops of Rocky Road.
mm,
And so you just have to kind of, embrace
mm,
it and see the positive in everything. And I will just say this, like this may be off topic, but I never hated my cancer. I didn't like hate the cells and hate myself and think that, my body was against me, betraying me. I was like, man, how did I set myself up for this?
mhm,
And instead, I was just like, hey, I love all you guys, but you got to go and you got to stay and we got to build a new, sorry. And so that like sense of love and sense of self is how I treat myself every day forward because that is where beauty is. It's in your attitude, it's in your personality, it's in your smile. It's not in if
mm,
this looks perfect or doesn't look perfect. Nobody who loves you cares if things are perfect. They only care about how you look at them
mhm.
and see them as beautiful or give them the respect that they're looking for. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense, and I couldn't agree with it more. And I do live my life, and this is my new motto that I've been holding on to since I started my Kabbalah journey, because
Mm,
I've really gone into Kabbalah this year. I did when I went to
perfect.
Israel, but I've kind of refound it, and it's been amazing. And so instead of asking ourselves, "Why did this happen to me?" I ask myself, "What is this trying to teach me?" And just having that mindset shift is absolutely everything. I could talk to you forever,
100.
Sherry.
I
We're gonna
know.
have all these different
100.
parts of different, topics, but I would love for you to gift our listeners one piece of advice to anyone who's ready to take a more natural approach to their healing journey today.
Just one piece of
Just
advice? I mean,
one.
that's just so stingy.
You can give me a couple.
Um, you know, if you are really want to connect with yourself on your healing journey, then you have to stop guessing. Like if you find that you're guessing how you should eat, if you're guessing, should I supplement? Should I not supplement? Should I use this? Should I, use that? If you're guessing, should I exercise or should I intermittent fast? Like is my gut healthy? Is
Mm,
my microbiome healthy? Like, stop all the guessing. We live in a smart world now. We've got wonderful functional tests. You can just test and not guess. And then that will give you the confidence to make the next best decision. And that is how you recover. That's how you teach your children to live. And that's how you move forward. Because in this gray area of guessing comes uncertainty, comes
mhm,
failure, comes waste of time, waste of energy. So test, don't guess, and
mhm.
then keep that mantra in your head. And for me, it's no coincidence that I call my company Sexy Strong Life because I want to say it 150 times a day. Right?
Yeah.
That's my focus. That's what I'm charting my personal, ship to sexy, strong life.
Absolutely. I mean, if there's any huge takeaway, it is the fact that we are so blessed to not have to guess anymore.
Yeah.
And there
Yeah.
are resources, and you are a huge one. So, how can our listeners connect with you and become a part of your community and learn from you?
You're so kind. They definitely can connect on sexystronglife.com. On Instagram, I started during my little cancer journey very quietly, Sheri
Mm.
Levy _journey to organic. And there's almost a 500,000 people there following, trying to make the next best decision. And Sexy Strong Life on Instagram. And then, of course, all those in Facebook land and TikTok. But Instagram is where I am, and my website is how you can reach me. So thank you for asking.
Amazing. Absolutely. And we'll put everything in the show notes for anyone that didn't get that so everyone can connect with you and become a part of your community. And I'm so blessed I am now a part of your community and I thank you for everything that you do for this world and for the future of our children as well. I so appreciate you and I loved connecting with you. Thank you for being here, Sherry.
Thank you so much for having me, and what a blessing you are and a gift to your children. Remind them every day what a gift you are to them. This is a beautiful show. Thank you so much for having
Thank you
me.
so much, Sherry.